You already know this person. They live in your feed, sit across your desk, smile in your mirror. You've felt that quiet confusion. Why can't I tell who's real? After a conversation that left you both impressed and uneasy. Here's the truth you rarely admit. You don't want to misjudge people, but you also don't want to be fooled. Tonight, you will learn to read anyone, not with tricks, but with a clearer eye. Nietzsche said people wear masks, not because they are liars, but because they are layered. To read someone, you don't rip the mask off. You notice when it slips. What follows are 18 signals, subtle, human, often uncomfortable, that reveal more than the words ever will. As you listen, watch yourself too. Because every lens you hold to others becomes a mirror. First, a frame. Nietzsche believed our actions are driven by forces beneath our polite stories. Our will, our fears, our hunger for status, safety, meaning. So, start with this. Assume people are trying to survive something. When you listen with that assumption, you will hear what they are protecting. Truth 1, the compliment they can't give. People reveal their core insecurity by what they refuse to admire. If someone can praise discipline in athletes but sneers at it in colleagues, they're not allergic to excellence. They're threatened by it in themselves. Notice the missing compliment. It is a map of a wound. Truth 2, the joke that lands too hard. A joke is a safe container for a dangerous idea. When laughter is just slightly sharp, when it tastes like relief, there is a belief hiding in it. Nietzsche warned that resentment hides as virtue. Listen for jokes about lazy, stupid, evil others. That joke is a mask for resentment seeking an audience. Truth 3, how they handle small power. Give a person a trivial advantage. The last word in a meeting, the faster Wi-Fi, the ability to approve a minor request. Do they share it, hoard it, weaponize it? Power amplifies, it does not transform. If they need to make you feel small when the stakes are low, believe them. They are rehearsing for when the stakes are high. Truth 4, interruptions are confessions. We interrupt where our desire is strongest. Notice when someone breaks in, right before responsibility, right after nuance, precisely when the story threatens their preferred identity. That's the spot where their self-image cannot bear more light. Truth 5, what they do with silence. Silence is a mirror. Some fill it with nervous noise, fear of being unseen. Some tolerate it, comfort with uncertainty. Some use it to control, letting you hang so they can define the terms. Pay attention to who breaks the silence first, and why. That tells you who is actually steering. Truth 6, their favorite enemy. Nietzsche taught that we build identity by contrast. Ask, who is their villain? The lazy, the chaotic, the arrogant, the conformist. People choose enemies that justify their own virtues. Their chosen opponent sketches the outline of their ideal self and the flaw they fear becoming. Truth 7, the contradiction they protect. Everyone holds a cherished contradiction. I hate drama spoken dramatically. I value honesty followed by half-truths. Don't attack it. Observe how carefully it is defended. The more elaborate the story needed to defend a contradiction, the deeper the need it serves. Truth 8, pace reveals priority. Watch how someone moves through tasks. Where do they slow down? What do they dread? A person who races to send the email but avoids the conversation values appearance over alignment. A person who lingers on preparation values control more than improvisation. Speed is not competence. It's a prayer to the idol they serve. Approval, certainty, safety. Truth 9, how they carry a debt. Gratitude is remembering. Entitlement is forgetting. After you help someone, do they keep score, cancel the debt by overpraising, or pretend it never happened? The way they metabolize favors shows whether they see relationships as exchange, alliance, or burden. Truth 10, the story they tell about their past. Nietzsche distrusted moralizing about one's own history. When someone's life story has only saints and villains, they are protecting a fragile meaning. When their story includes their part in the ruin and the lesson, they are still growing. You can trust people who can grieve their own mistakes without collapsing. Truth 11. What their envy points to. Envy is an arrow. It pierces the distance between who they are and who they ache to become. When someone dismisses success they secretly crave, they are not rejecting it. They're trying to make peace with not having it. Pay attention to what they belittle. That's often their own abandoned dream. Truth 12. The boundary that appears late. People who set no boundary until resentment erupts are telling you they don't yet know how to be both kind and strong. When a boundary appears only after a blow-up, it wasn't a rule, it was a punishment. Trust the quiet boundary set early. Distrust the explosive one set too late. Truth 13. The metaphor they live by. If life is a war, they will look for enemies. If life is a game, they will score and compare. If life is a garden, they will cultivate and wait. Listen to their metaphors. They are not decorations. They are operating systems. They will predict how they handle stress, success, and you. Truth 14. The should in their mouth. Nietzsche criticized herd morality, those unquestioned shoulds we inherit. When someone's speech is crowded with should, ask yourself, whose voice is speaking through them? Cultural script, family code, fear of rejection. A person's should list is a map to their invisible judge. Truth 15. What they do when they are bored. Boredom is desire without a target. Do they reach for distraction, escalation, creation, or connection? The habit they default to when bored is the habit they will bring to conflict and intimacy. Boredom exposes the raw pattern: avoidance, conquest, invention, or presence. Truth 16. Generosity toward the powerless. Nietzsche valued strength that does not need to humiliate. Watch how someone treats those who cannot repay. Service workers, juniors, strangers who inconvenience them. That is not nice behavior. That is a worldview, either hierarchy as domination or hierarchy as responsibility. Truth 17. What they repeat when they suffer. In pain, intellect shrinks and ritual appears. Notice the sentence that returns. This always happens to me. I'll show them. It's all meaningless. That refrain is their theology under stress. Believe what people chant when they hurt. It will outweigh what they promise when they're calm. Truth 18. The eternal recurrence test. Nietzsche's thought experiment. If you had to relive this moment forever, would you bless it or curse it? Watch what people do that they would not wish to repeat. That is the clearest sign they are bargaining with the present instead of building the future. The person who chooses actions they could survive eternally is living with self-respect, not performance. Now, how do you use this without becoming a cynic or a manipulator? 3 principles. Principle 1. Hold a double vision. People are not their worst moment, and they are not their best story. Read signals, then widen the frame. Ask, what surviving strategy would make this behavior sensible? This transforms judgment into insight. It also protects you from charming narratives that hide patterns. Principle 2. Trade certainty for sensitivity. Nietzsche argued truth is perspectival. We see through angles, not absolutes. Reading someone is not solving them like a math problem. It's refining your sensitivity to patterns. Replace "I know who they are" with "I notice this pattern." Sensitivity keeps you honest and keeps you safe. Principle 3. Start with yourself. Every lens cuts both ways. Which enemy do you prefer? Which compliment do you withhold? Where do you interrupt? Which metaphor are you living by? War, game, garden. The person you misread most often is the person you need to protect, yourself. You have masks too. If you want to read others clearly, clean the glass you're looking through. Let me show you this in motion. Imagine a conversation that seems smooth. They laugh at the right time, praise your idea, and volunteer to help. Notice 2 details. The joke about people who need validation, delivered with a little heat, and the eagerness to own a small decision no one else cares about. Truth 2 and Truth 3 light up. A resentment hiding in humor, a rehearsal with small power. You do not label them a villain. You simply test the pattern. You wait. When a silent moment arrives, they fill it quickly, steering the topic back to their wins. Truth 5. Later, when you thank them for a past favor, they wave it away. Don't mention it, it was nothing. But they mention it again later as leverage. Truth 9. You are no longer confused. You are calm. You adjust trust, not kindness. You set a quiet boundary, early. That is how you read without attacking. It feels like breathing fresh air. And another scene. Someone speaks slowly, offers no enemy, and says, "I was wrong about that," without flinching. They admire a skill they do not yet have, ask a precise question, and hold silence comfortably while you think. Truths 1, 5, 10 in harmony. You do not idolize them. You simply invite more. This is how good judgment feels, not ecstatic, but steady. Here is the uncomfortable twist. You cannot read anyone instantly if you are busy performing yourself. When you're trying to be impressive, you lose sensitivity. Your attention turns inward, toward your mask. Nietzsche would say, "Stop negotiating with your audience, negotiate with your values." If you choose actions you could live with eternally, Truth 18, you become easier to read, which makes you harder to manipulate. Clarity is a kind of power, so a practice for the next 7 days. Day 1, track the compliment you could not give, offer it sincerely, and watch what softens in you. Day 2, notice the sentence you repeat when stressed, write a better one. Day 3, change your metaphor. If life has been a war, try a garden for 24 hours. Day 4, give someone trivial power, observe without drama. Day 5, hold a 5-second silence before you reply. Feel who moves. Day 6, name your favorite enemy, ask what part of you they protect. Day 7, eternal recurrence, check. Choose one action today you would not regret living again. You will not become omniscient. You will become honest. And honesty, refined by attention, reads faster than any trick. A final thought to leave with you in the quiet after this video ends. If everyone wears masks, then the most radical act is not tearing them off. It is building a life where your mask and your face slowly agree. Where your compliments are free, your jokes are clean, your power is gentle, your silence is generous, your stories can hold your own flaws, and your choices are ones you could live with forever. That kind of life reads clearly at any distance. It doesn't shout to be known. It simply shines. And in its light, you won't just read others more accurately, you'll finally read yourself. Choose one signal, practice it today, not to judge, not to control, but to see. Because when you truly see, you don't need to be ruthless. You need only to be real.